Let me ask you a simple question. If let's say you're driving your family to let's say Disneyland and there is a roadblock, some traffic or whatever the case may be, and that GPS has you detour your path, right? But you still end up getting to Disneyland. Was it a failure or was it a success? It was a success. Obviously, you were able to get to your end destination. Now hear me out. When it comes to failing in your life, there is no such thing as failure. That is just something that us as human beings, we put a little slang, we put a little twist, we make this creative word into, hey, it's being a negative, but it's really not. See, the only failure that happens is if you just give up completely. And unfortunately, that's what most people do. So let me share with you guys this, right? Just like that car getting to Disneyland, hey, maybe that GPS kind of reroutes you when there's a roadblock, when there's a traffic jam, whatever the case may be, right? A little detour. You need to have the same realization when it comes to you trying to have success at your health and fitness goals. Look at any of the greats out there, any of them, okay? They all dealt with some kind of adversity. They all dealt with some kind of strifes and, hardships. And at times they failed. Even the greatest of all times, like Michael Jordan, he used failure as a key that led him to be more disciplined, to push harder in the weight room, to push harder with his practice, and to become the greatest basketball player of all time. It's not because he won every single game and hit every single, game-winning shot. No. It's because of the shots that he missed. And he used that to almost just like fast track him to succeed even more because it fueled him. But so many times us as humans, right, men, we just focus on, okay, hey, we're trying to do this. Maybe it's a different diet, maybe it's a training program, whatever the case may be, and we hit a little roadblock. We fail. We're not having the best success as what we did when we first got started. Or maybe something happens where we get an injury. We fall off the wagon for a few days. Something happens, whatever the case may be. But we let that sabotage us to where, hey, we just end up quitting and going back to our old ways. Instead of it being a driving force for success. Meaning like, okay, hey, let's say you injure yourself, right? And that recently happened to me as well, right? Hurt my back. So it's like, okay, what can I double down on? My steps, my mindset, my nutrition. Okay, let's focus on that. So that way now, when my back heals itself and I'm back to normal, get even better results. Because during the midst of the darkness, right, of dealing with an adversity, guess what? I was able to double down on some other things that I had full control over. Plain and simple. You guys need to understand this, right? Like when it comes down to success and when it comes down to failure, it's very simple. As long as you don't give up, you will have success. That's it. Plain and simple. You don't need to be talented. You don't need to be the strongest. You don't need to be the fastest. You don't need to be the smartest. In fact, you should probably be the dumbest. Too dumb to give up. Too dumb to go back to your old ways. And if you establish that, all right, and just stay consistent, that's it. Obviously some weeks you're going to have great success. Some weeks it's going to feel like, you're 5, 10, 15 steps ahead. And then other weeks, other days, it only might be a few small inches. Maybe it's just 1 foot, right? But it doesn't matter. As long as you're not going backwards. And here's the thing, even if you do go backwards, that's okay. Let's say you have a week, right, where you miss hitting your protein goals. You miss training hard. You didn't work on your mindset. Well, hey, that's okay. Hey, it was a bad week. At the end of the day, sure, we maybe take a few steps back, but we can utilize that as motivation to have a more successful the rest of the month. The next weeks ahead, really push forward, right? And get even better results. Use that as, okay, hey, I don't want to go back to my ways. Use that as almost getting angry, right? To make you even more disciplined. To say, hey, I'm sticking with this regardless if I'm seeing results or not. Just like with Michael Jordan, right? Missing some of those game-winning shots, losing some of those games. He used the pain to push him to greatness. Look at anybody out there that had success. They did not go through it where it was just all sunshine and roses. No, they had to go through some hardships. And you need to understand that if you really want to have this winner's mindset, right? It's coming out on top regardless, that everything's working out in your favor, even if you're dealing with some kind of adversity. Let me repeat that. You have the winner's mindset of everything is working out in your favor, even if you're dealing with some kind of adversity. Whether that's an injury, whether that's travels, whether that is you not seeing the results that you want, it doesn't matter. It's all working out in your favor because you know that you're going to win at the end of the day. That is having faith. That is having unshakable confidence. And sometimes, I always like to say this, right? In fact, Steve Jobs said it, right? He said it the best. You cannot connect the dots looking forward in life. You can only connect the dots looking backwards in life. And sometimes you don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes you don't know in the midst of the storm and the depression and the adversity and the stress and the darkness that you're in right now, it might be a blessing in disguise. I had a great conversation with one of our members, Jason, and we talked all about that. Goal setting and, having that unshakable confidence, having that faith. And I really put into a few different metaphors for him, but I think the best one that really kind of stuck out is the one that I want to share with you right now. And it's like, imagine that there's this big mountain, right? And you have like this nice ice cold water, right? Clean as can be, flowing down through the bottom of the mountain, right? Going all the way down into this stream, into this big pond or a lake, whatever the case may be, right? Crystal clear water. Well, hey, maybe that's you, progressing with your fat loss journey, and everything in the beginning, it's flowing, right? You're seeing results. It doesn't matter what you're doing, right? You're constantly losing weight, constantly burning some body fat, right? Feeling great. It's just like that flow going. But let's just say there's, some beavers, and they build a beaver dam, okay? And so at the end of the day, that big flow, that big current of water that's going all the way down to the bottom of the lake, maybe it's not coming down as fast. Maybe it's not coming down as much as it used to before those beavers built that beaver dam, right? Kind of a silly analogy, but hear me out on this one, right? And so let's just say that, that water, it's still trickling down, right? It's getting through some of the cracks on the beaver's dam, still coming all the way down. But at the end of the day, hey, guess what? It's still getting there. It might be slow during that process, not as fast as it once was, okay? But it's still getting there. And sometimes slow progress is better than no progress at all. Let me repeat that. Sometimes slow progress is better than no progress at all. So many times, right, we want to see this fast success. Oh, I want to lose weight now. I want to burn body fat now. I want to have, six-pack abs now, right? Like all these different things, but we got to understand, like, it's a process. But despite, right, those beavers building that beaver dam, right, maybe that's adversity, maybe that's stress, maybe that's an injury, whatever the case may be, maybe it's actually a blessing in disguise. Because maybe it's going to make you stronger mentally. Maybe it's going to have you focus more on something else that you have more control over. Whatever the case may be. It could be anything. What I like to do is just say, okay, hey, there's this beavers building this beaver's dam. So all that water, right, that big current, it's not coming down all at once. But hear me out. Who's to say that maybe some hikers up at the top of the mountain, let's say they littered, right, through some garbage, some trash, right, some cans, whatever the case may be, into that stream that was at the top. And maybe that beaver's dam, as that trash is coming down, it's getting stopped at that beaver's dam. So it's not making it all the way to the bottom of the lake where my goals are at. So what does that mean? Well, think about it like this. Maybe that injury that you're going through, it's helping you because maybe something else, right? It's actually a blessing in disguise. You don't know. Maybe that stress that you're going through, maybe it's once again a blessing in disguise. I hear that from all the time, right? You hear success stories also, right? Somebody might lose their job, feel very depressed, been out of shape about it, right? Not seeing a clear future and just, feel like their life's collapsing on them or going through a divorce or whatever the case may be, anything. But then it's just like, hey, maybe they find a better job. Maybe they find a new partner and the relationship is way better. You never know. You never know. It's just like Steve Jobs said, right? You cannot connect the dots looking forward in life. Only connect the dots looking backwards. And sometimes, right, these roadblocks, these adversities, right, are put there to protect us, and we don't even know. We don't. But you know what's going to help you out the most is focusing on your mindset. Having that unshakable confidence that at the end of the day, it's all going to work out in your favor. That is the winner's mindset for success. And anytime there's adversity or failures or anything like that, you need to understand it's just these little roadblocks. Your GPS is still going to reroute you, get you to your goals, get you to your end destination. You just need to have faith. You need to trust the process. You need to have confidence that's all going to work out, because guess what? It is. It is. And this is that winner's mindset that you see in the athletes, you see in all the celebrities, right? You see in all these people that are successful. They don't get bent out of shape about the failures. They don't get bent out of shape about the struggles. They understand that's part of the process. They understand that at the end of the day, maybe it's making them stronger in other areas that they needed to improve on more. So if, let's say, life's throwing you some kind of curveballs, right? Maybe you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's okay. Keep moving forward. It doesn't have to be 5, 10, 15 steps. Maybe it's just a few small inches, right? 1 foot in front of the other each and every day. That's all we strive for at Heartletics for our members. And we strive for that for the same for you as well that's listening in. It's just push yourself constantly. And remember, the only people that honestly fail at all this is the ones that quit. The ones that go back and just, go back to their old ways. The ones that just stop caring. And that's why we focus so much at Heartletics on establishing habits. Not just with burning body fat, going through our 7 essential habits for fat loss. No, it's the mindset habits as well. Different things that's going to, once again, get the goals off the pedestal. Different things that's going to get you more in alignment of what would it be like if you already had success at achieving your goals. How would that look? How would that feel? Right? Different visualization, different, mantras out there, whatever the case may be, affirmations, meditation. There's so many different practices. At the end of the day, we just want to make sure that we really help out our members on what is going to make them happier. What's going to make them more positive? What's going to make them really focus on becoming the best version of themselves, so that way, guess what? They feel so good, they want to help out others as well. And that's why we focus on really helping our members become leaders, not just for their families, but, their coworkers, their communities, society, because that's what's going to make the world a better place. Is we focus on how do we first and foremost lead by example, us as the coaches. How do we help our members do the same? And it's just snowball effect over and over and over again, And who knows? Maybe actually helping out others have success at achieving their goals actually fast tracks you to having success at reaching your goals. We talk about that often as well. So at the end of the day, hear me out. Adversities, failures, stress, it's going to happen. Plain and simple. But remember, life is literally 10% about what happens to you, 90% on how you react to it. So the next time life's throwing curveballs your way, what are you going to do? Are you going to step up to the plate? Still try to hit a home run? Still try to swing? Who knows? Maybe you don't, right, hit a home run, but at least you get on the base, right? Maybe you get to first base. Who knows? Maybe you get to second base, As long as you actually have the courage to step up to the plate, to swing when life throws you these curveballs, you're gonna be okay. And who knows? Maybe even you strike out, but that's okay, because you learn from it. You come back stronger, bigger, faster, leaner, whatever the case may be, smarter in the end, because you stepped up. You didn't quit. You didn't go back to your old ways. You didn't just say, "Oh, this is a curveball. I'm not used to this pitcher throwing these. I'm not even gonna step up." No, you stepped up. And that's all that matters. And that's all what we strive for our members, is to step up each and every day. Remember, successful people do what they have to do, whether they feel like it or not. If you can remember that and take that strive, just one step outside your comfort zone each and every day, I promise you, you will eventually have success and reach your goals.